All right, well, our military friends would say it's 1601. It's 1600, we start the meeting, and meetings that start on time end on time, right? So I'm on the agenda. I'm at A, opening items, and I'm at number 1, call the meeting to order. And I heard, I think, Glenn, from you, we have a quorum.
Yes, we have quorum.
Cool, here we go. So with the quorum, has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes? And does anybody have any comments, amendments, or changes to the minutes as presented?
You know, I would just, because I've been asked by other people, the one item that was brought up in public comments last meeting about using bond funds for the foundation. I just wondered what the answer to that ended up being.
We did prepare a response to that question, and I thought that we shared it with the committee. So let me double check on that. And if we fail to send it out, I will make sure that we get it out to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you may have sent it, Seraphin, and I'm not going to say that I'm the best bellwether, but I don't remember seeing it. And so that's a good question. And we do need to have that on the record somewhere.
Yes, if I may, I would like to actually provide you with the information that we shared, and that it was basically that building was actually on the facilities master plan to be demolished, and the facilities master plan was approved in conjunction with the Measure H plan. And because not all projects are necessarily approved in the initial plan, as long as the projects are within the approved facilities master plan, we are able to make modifications to the original list of projects. And that project was added later by the board due to the changes that we had experienced at the district with the agreement of the board to add the student housing project as a project to the district.
So if I could summarize and say that shorter, we colored inside the lines and everything's copacetic.
That's correct.
I thought that's what you said. Thank you very much. Perfect. So with that request for addition to, is that a request to put something into the minutes with respect to this?
Well, I think that's important since it was, brought up from the outside. I think we should, include it as an addendum to the minutes or whatever, but showing that we did respond.
Okay, duly noted. So Seraphin, what I would suggest, and I'm going to look to you for some, just make sure we're doing the right thing here, is I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented with the additional, with the add-on of the response to be gotten, to be put on.
Right. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Would that be included in the last meeting minutes or this meeting's minutes?
It should, well, that's a good question. It could probably be either one.
Well, it was brought up in the last meeting, so it would make sense to me that they would be addressed this meeting and therefore be memorialized in this meeting's minutes. So with whatever Seraphin just said, if we could just get Seraphin to put that in writing and then we can add it, maybe Glenn can just add it to this meeting's minutes.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate.
Okay, well, that changes then the need to make an amendment to the existing minutes, because the question will be on the minutes from this meeting. So if we all agree to that process and procedure, I request a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I so move.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. All in favor of approval of the minutes as presented?
Aye.
Hey,
Any abstentions, any objections? None heard. We move along. Public comment. Glenn, are you aware of anybody who's waiting in the wings? Or
No,
who
there-
has sent anything ahead of time?
No, there's no public comments.
Appreciate the public. That's awesome. All right, so we moves us on the agenda to section B, action agenda. And the reason for the selection of a chair and a vice chair is because our good friend Greg has resigned his position. And before we move on to the selection of chair and vice chair, Seraphin, if you would kind of fill in the blanks with respect to process, if any one of us happens to depart prior to the expiration of our term, what do we do, or what are y'all doing, and how did we get here?
Yeah, so because the position that Greg Grandison was fulfilling is one of the required positions, he was representing the senior citizens organizations. What we have done is that we have put an announcement on the Citizens Bond Oversight webpage, letting the public know that the position is available, and if anybody's interested that belongs to one of those organizations, they can submit an application to be reviewed and considered by the Board of Trustees. So that announcement is currently on our website. It's on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee page, as well as the Capital Projects page. So once we receive applications, they will be reviewed and considered by the Board of Trustees, and we're hoping to have something presented to the board for them to approve a committee member at the August board meeting.
Perfect. So we could have a new kid on the block for our fall session then.
That's correct, for the next committee meeting in October.
Perfect. Thank you. Everybody understand? Cool with that? Any questions to Seraphin about process there? Okay, hearing none, Greg was the chair and I was the vice chair, which for this meeting makes me the chair. So I would like to reiterate, I'm here because he's not, rather than by choice. So I would be happy to entertain recommendations, or if somebody would like to have this position, speak up because it's available.
Well, listen, Michael, I think you're doing a bang up job, and maybe I would like to nominate you to continue as chair.
I'll second that.
That was a pretty quick second call.
That's too fast, huh?
All in favor?
Aye.
So historically, what happens is whatever board member misses the meeting, they're the ones that get to be elected chair. So who's not here that we can tap? That's what I'd like to know. All right, fine. So, all right, well, if I'm going to move up one seat, that means we have someone that would hopefully sit next to me and be available when I'm not. Who might want to do that?
I think Rick does a fantastic job of that.
I don't mind doing it.
I would nominate Rick.
I second that.
Well, there we are. Okay, so we have two draftees who are in front of the draft board at this time. And so I guess what we do now is ask for a motion to make the selection official. Would anybody like to make said a motion?
I will make the motion to make this selection official, as with Michael as chair and Rick as vice chair.
That's perfect. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
Perfect. Any further discussion? It's not too late to change your minds. I'm just saying. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections, abstentions? None heard. Item C, the president's update. And I'm not sure which golf course the president's on at this time, but I know that we have a very able replacement for him at this time. So have at her.
I don't know. I don't have Dr. Steve's charm, but I will try to take over for him for the moment. So just a couple of things to update on. One is we did get our accreditation report. We went through our accreditation visit in the spring. The ACCJC took action in June, and they notified us recently about kind of the outcome of that. So we were reaffirmed for 18 months. There are a couple things that we do need to address and do a follow-up report in October of 23 on. They're all related to our student learning outcomes and data associated with the student learning outcomes. So we are already working on that. We've developed a plan. We'll be rolling it out mostly in the faculty realm early this fall and proceeding forward. And we have no concerns that we won't be able to address those. We were happy we did get some commendations from it. Commendations used to be really regular in accreditation reports. And I mean, I think we got one for trees in our last one, but they are not really common this since ACCJC changed their standards. So we were really pleased to get 3 of them. One of them was about supporting and fostering our students, their success and achievement, which is kind of the highest honor I think we could have. Another one was for our student housing projects. And then the third one was our long-range plan for fiscal stability and getting that implemented. So we're really proud of all 3 of those. The budget did come through from the state, and I think Dr. Chong probably updated you last time. It was a really positive budget again for community colleges. On the facility side of it, there were 3 allocations for us, 2 from the state, support of our public safety training center expansion, and then also for the next phase of Towser. But there was also a $15 million allocation for our student housing project, which will help us keep our rents lower for the students who live there. And then the other thing I wanted to update is we do have quite a bit of transition in the leadership team. We have Pedro Avila left. He is the new president down at Gavilan. We have selected an interim vice president to replace him. Robert Effington has come on board and hit the ground running. And then on the academic affairs side, Jane Saldana's tally last week is this week. And Robert Holcomb was selected for that and is already working hard there. So I think that's it for me.
That all sounds reasonably impressive. Congratulations on the commendations, and nice to hear that there is nothing that can't be overcome in the realm of meeting whatever it is that they need to see, other boxes that need to be checked. So thank you very much, Kate, for standing in for the doctor. And I think he is now in a charm war. I think you did every bit as good, maybe even better because it was shorter. Nice job. So, okay, moving down the agenda, then we are at Whitney for quarterly expenditures.
Thank you. So today I have for you the financial report for the 4th quarter for 21-22, but I do want to note that the ending date is 6/29, as we're still in the middle of year end, so we're still closing the previous fiscal year out, so this is not final. But the highlights for the 4th quarter include $9.7 million in expansion and new construction. And this includes $4.6 million for the W. Terry Lindley Center for STEM, $5.2 million for the Southwest Center. And then I wanted to note the negative expenditure in property acquisition is just a correction to a duplicate entry from the previous quarter. We had $6.7 million for renovation and modernization, and that includes $3 million for the CAD renovations, $1.5 million for Garcia Hall renovation, and $1 million for the foundation renovation. Then we had $1.3 million in information technology, $1.2 million in infrastructure maintenance and repairs, $393,000 on health and safety improvements. I also wanted to note on the second page, you'll notice negative expenditures for the 3 roofing projects, and those are just adjustments to prior year liabilities. So this brings the total expenditures during the 4th quarter to $19,718,892, which brings the overall expenditures to $264,884,369.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
How are the change orders doing? You know, you don't have to go all the way back, but just for this reporting period, are we seeing very many of those?
May I kick this one to Seraphin?
Definitely. I don't think that we're necessarily seeing any more change orders than what we normally would see in a quarter. I think that we have been managing our projects to keeping change orders at a minimum. So we're not really seeing anything unusual. I think that as far as the unusual portions of our projects where, for example, Garcia Hall, we had a lot of unforeseen conditions. There was a lot more hazardous abatement that we had to do, and thereafter replacement of items in the building that we had to rebuild because of that abatement work. So a lot of that, like I said, it's information that we've known since the project has started. So it's nothing unusual, like I said, that we're experiencing as far as change orders.
Okay. Just curious. It's always a point of interest.
I have a question, if I may. With all the construction going on and all the amount of money that is being spent on building and all that, I wanted to know how many of those contracts, and I'm sure we probably talked about this early on, but it'd be nice to kind of review how many of those contracts have been awarded to local contractors, specifically minority-owned businesses. Do you have that access to that data, Seraphin, or somebody else?
So as far as the location of our contractors, we do have that information, and I can share with you that I want to take it down a step to subcontractors, because, for example, the STEM project, the general contractor, they hold a $75 million contract, but in reality, that general contractor does very little work because they sub everything out. So the subcontractors, we're probably at about 80% of the subcontracts that went to local subcontractors, either in Sonoma County or nearby counties, but about 75 to 80% are to local subcontractors. And that goes across the board to all of our projects. Now, as far as minority contractors, we don't track that information. So it's not something that is easily or readily available to us to be able to grasp from the database that we have based on the information that we collect from contractors. So that's something that we wouldn't be able to provide unless we actually ask some of those questions or look through some of the specific contracts to see if they classify themselves as a minority-owned, woman-owned, or a different type of owner.
Okay, I was just curious. I don't know if there's any stipulation on that. It was just crossed my mind. And then a follow-up question on a different category with the health and safety improvements. Also, quite a bit of money there. And as we all know, a lot of students don't have access to healthcare. And so I wonder if any of those funds have been utilized to alleviate a little bit of that, or maybe there's other sources that the students can tap into to have access to healthcare, insurance in particular.
Do you want me to jump in on that one, Sarah?
Definitely.
Okay, so no, these funds aren't specifically used to provide healthcare for students, but we do have our health services center that is specifically for students. And then we also had major OPAST so we're working on that contract right now, which provides actually mental health services for our students, which is a huge impact that is needed, especially since the pandemic. So they definitely have healthcare options available to them. Rebecca Norwick is our Director of Health Services, who started right before the pandemic. Bless her heart, she stayed with us. But she has been huge about expanding not only access to services, but what type of services students can actually receive from us, or get referrals out to either local clinics or local medical service providers that can provide either low cost or no cost services to our students that we can't provide.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the project updates? Good.
Actually, before we go to project updates, if we can, we do have another information item from Kate Jolly on the issuance of bond Series C.
Perfect. I'm sorry. Kate, didn't mean to overlook this, cheapers. See, this is why I told you I wasn't the best choice. I'm just example A.
You're doing great.
Go ahead, Kate.
You're doing great.
You're doing perfect. And of course, my dog is going to choose now to bark. Sorry. Okay, so I wanted to just make everybody kind of aware it's an update. We don't have all the details yet, but because of the way that the meetings fell, I just wanted to make sure I brought it to you as an information item. So at the June board agenda, we did take a resolution to the board to get on the next tax roll for Series C issuance. And at the August board, we will be bringing forward the resolution to actually issue the remainder of the bond series, which is 105 million. So we do hope to get that to the board in August and issue either late September, early October is our timeline. One of the things that we're exploring, kind of similar to what we did in Measure A, is having a Series C and a Series D issued at the same time. One would be for longer term technology. So those would be invested in taxables, so that we could use them, oh my goodness, sorry, longer term, and not have to worry about arbitrage calculations and all of that fun stuff.
It's just Amazon, Kate. Don't worry. They'll be off the porch in a minute.
No, she's chasing a fly. So, it'll be around for a minute, apparently. I apologize. So that's about all the information we have. We're still figuring out how much is going to be in each of the series. They will be released and sold at the same time, and we will bring you information back at the next EBOC. But I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, I have, Kate, just to refresh my memory, how much time does that money, or when does that money get spent, or within what period of time?
So in order for, in the taxable side of things, which would be what our normal bond issuances are, 80% must be spent within 3 years.
Okay.
And so what we're looking to do is have that those additional funds available for longer term tech needs, once the bond funds have been spent. So we would have technology wrapped up within Series C, and then for that longer term. The issue that we're up against is the interest rates. They're going up, and nobody's really seeing them come back down. So we want to try to get as much bang for our buck and do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the series? So, Kate, you said Series C, and then a potential. Series C has been approved by the Board of Trustees, and there's a possible D and a possible E.
No, C and D will be issued together. Both of those will go for approval in August. They'll be issued at the same time, all part of the same resolution. But all of them combined will be no more than the remaining 105 million that's left in the bond program.
Cool. Any other questions on for future series bond issuance? Nice work, Kate. Thank you very much. Seraphin, showtime.
Yes, so here we go with our project updates. We are going to start with Ryan Leahy at Schoen Farm.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So in July, exterior painting was completed, and also signs are scheduled for install probably hopefully this week. You know, we've got some nice pictures of the new painted portables, so they're looking pretty good. Next up is the Schoen Farm new greenhouse. The contractor had a punch walk on June 21st, and they're currently working on punch list items. And one of the last items they'll have is the generator quick connect installation will take place in mid-August. And next is the produce processing facility. The construction of the coolers was put on hold due to a conflict with the building. So right now we have the design team, QKA, working on plan changes, and we'll be able to proceed once we get these plan changes executed. And for the Schoen Farm site security project.
Ryan, real quick, what was the conflict of the building? Can you elaborate on that?
The height of the building and the height of the coolers there was a conflict there. So the coolers wouldn't fit underneath the eave of the building. So we have to push the coolers out, and at the same time that makes the building pad or the cooler pads larger, and so it's got a little bit of design work that's needed.
So not to prolong things, but doesn't sound like an insignificant oops. Who pays for that? Somebody drew it, somebody approved it, and it wasn't right. Who gets the expense of that change order?
So we had two different designers actually working on this, and with us trying to push the project forward, the building design was actually completed before the bid out, before the cooler design was completed. So unfortunately, the catch that the two did not completely connect came after we completed the construction of the building. The good thing is that we have had the two teams work together so that we can mitigate the problem with a very minimal change. So even though it's minor, where we're moving the coolers off a little bit so that they fit in place, it will require additional slab for the coolers to rest on. So this is something that we will be paying for, again, because the coordination between the two design teams was not managed.
Okay, sir, from that last sentence again, the changes, we will not, the district and the bond funds will not be paying for the correction?
We will. The district and the bond funds will be paying for the change.
Happens. Thank you.
Okay, next up is the Schoen Farm site security project. The produce processing facility and the pavilion security designs were received in July. And right now we've got all the project stakeholders reviewing the documents. Next up is the Garcia Hall renovation. In July, we've got flooring and MEP finishes installed, and we're on schedule to be substantially complete the end of this week and in time for fall classes.
It's very nice. It's probably the most remodeled building on the campus. How many times that's been remodeled?
Next up, we've got the Busman IT renovation. This was bid out last month. DMR Builders was the low bidder at $522,910. Purchasing is right now completing contracts and bonds, and the IT department is scheduled for move out the first week of August.
Thank you, Ryan. Next, we have Heather.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So here's a photo actually from the Press Democrat of our Ribbon cutting last month. You can see the new Olympic-sized pool there, and then the baseball, softball, and soccer fields. So we completed that project, and the football team will start using the locker room at the field house on August 1st. And then for the Towser Gymnasium, the plans and specifications are with DSA. We expect them to approve the plan sometime this fall. And we will then submit to the Chancellor's office because this project is state funded. We'll also be pre-qualifying general contractors this fall to bid on the project. And we're currently anticipating construction to be like May or June of 2023. And so in preparation of that renovation, we are currently bidding out the Towser Gymnasium swing space at Annalee Village. We'll get bids in August and it'll take it to the September board meeting. And we'll do those renovations this fall and then plan to move faculty and staff over to Annalee Village in January 2023.
Thank you, Heather. Next up is Rhonda.
Hello. They're moving along on STEM very well, doing all the interior MEP on all 3 floors, doing interior wall framing. There's another slide. They installed the roofing on the mechanical pads. Tomorrow a crane is coming and setting HVAC units. Exterior sheathing is being done. The north elevation is finished today. That's along Elliott. It's going along well.
Thank you, Rhonda. And next is Amy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have 2 projects in the closeout phase, the campus-wide security project. The notice of completion is scheduled to go to the August Board of Trustees for approval. And Baker Lab, the notice of completion was approved in June. The foundation office building, the exterior, as you can see, the gray material is the exterior weatherproofing. That is complete. The site contractor has completed on-site prep, and the staking has been done to receive the site contract concrete, which is supposed to start this week. The rough in the inside of the building, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is all complete. And the drywall is very far along. It's probably 75% taped and textured. And the project has a 12-month timeline with a move-in date of January 2023.
Thank you, Amy. And next up is Mike. This is not a Measure 8 funded project, but it's a large enough and important project for us that we'd like to share some of the updates with you on this project as well. Mike?
Thank you, Serafin. Hello, everyone. So hopefully you guys enjoy seeing this go up as much as I do as you drive down 101. Right now we have the level 4 shear walls were just poured this week. So that's 4 walls on the 4th floor. We have 1 more level to go up. The floor for the top floor is going to be poured in 2 weeks, and then the roof in the beginning of September. Next slide. So as the structural work goes higher and higher, the more specific work follows below it, of course. So on the 1st floor, for example, we have most, if not all, of the non-structural framing complete, along with a lot of the MEP and HVAC elements. And right here, I think you're looking on the left at a view from probably the 3rd floor. And then last but not least, the work to connect the utilities will begin in earnest this week with the hope to have those complete and asphalt poured by the end of the year. Oh, and
thank you.
Also importantly, leasing starts, even though the project doesn't open until fall of next year, leasing will start next month.
Can I ask you a question? When everything is all said and done, how many students are we going to be able to serve? And also, how is the leasing process going to work? Is it based on income, need? How are you going to work it out?
Great question. So we have 352 beds in the project. And then as part of the project, and it also ties into what Kate mentioned earlier about the grant money from the state that's available to us. So there's a entire, we call it a waterfall of who's eligible. And it has a very strong focus on those students who need it the most. So we can always provide more detail if that's appropriate, but at least generally that's the response.
Thank you, Mike. And if there's no other question on the project updates, last, it's already this time of the year, as it may be, it's hard to believe. Our 2021-2022 fiscal year is over. So Robin is going to go over with you our timeline to prepare the annual report. Robin?
Thank you, Seraphin. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, so most of the work on your end will happen in October when draft letters will be written and reviewed, and as well as you'll receive you will be charged with approving the final audit report and approving the final draft report. You will get it before the meeting so that you have an opportunity to send any questions our way. And then it's a back and forth with email. But of course, your new chair is the one who is most responsible in making sure that the letter is to his satisfaction.
I clearly did not read the fine print. Responsible? Me?
Yes. So, Mr. Cotre, I saw you at the CAD pool dedication ceremony. So I have no doubt that it will be a fantastic letter.
I appreciate the enthusiasm and the optimism, and fingers crossed that Seraphin and you and Kate and Ryan and Heather and Rhonda and Mike surround me and don't let me do anything really, really foolish. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then once the report is printed, it will be mailed to Sonoma County taxpayers and residents, I believe. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robin. And that does complete our report. If there are any further questions that we may be able to answer for you.
No?
Seraphin, thank you for leading the team. It's pretty remarkable. Ryan, thank you, Heather, Rhonda, Amy, Mike, and Robin. As always, we could spend a lot of time on questions because I'm sure that we all have them, but the fact that there aren't that many speaks to how comprehensive and how well you all do. So thanks very much for taking care of us. So that brings us to announcements. Anybody want to announce anything?
You're not resigning from the chair, are you?
I'm wavering. I'm wavering a little bit, but I would like to take this opportunity because you know me, I like to get done early, and it's 4:39, and we've got until 5, and I certainly am not looking to fill time here. But I think what Jaime said is of some particular value with respect to the minority contractors. And Seraphin, I respect where you're coming from, that, hey, not everybody reports and that kind of thing. But I think it would be worthwhile to look into, to the best of our ability, because I did hear you say, hey, not everybody says who owns the company, so we don't necessarily know. But to do whatever research could be possible, because this is not the last bond measure. It's, we're not going to be here, but somebody's going to be here. And I think it would be helpful to those who promote the next bond measure to be able to point to, hey, measure H did this. And with the asterisk that, okay, this is not necessarily all inclusive, but this is what we know. And I think Jaime's point is particularly well taken, and y'all ought to just maybe think about it a little bit, is my only thing on that.
Well, I appreciate.
I'm sorry.
Definitely appreciate that, and I think it is something that we can start combing through contracts and start collecting data. So we'll try to have a report or feedback on how that goes for us at the next meeting in October.
I think that could be powerful, and I think that could be really beneficial, because there's no question that some of the bond money has indeed gone to minority contractors, or supported a bunch of minority people, and to the effect that you can point to that. I think that's powerful.
On that front, I'd like to make a quick announcement as it relates to the grand reopening. It's a fundraiser event, which many of you are involved in the Petaluma campus. Some of the new construction that's been done there. On September 24th, there's going to be a grand reopening from 4 to 7 p.m. Music by Petty Rocks, hosted by KRON's Ken Wayne. Food, wine, and just kind of unveiling some of the new, the tours of the new STEM classes, the new student center that's a Measure H project. So all of you are invited.
That's nice. Thank you very much. So again, taking chair privilege here, this is how you get out of a job. You start to grab the microphone and be a pain, and that they'll vote you out. So I'm going for that right now. Kate, just because we have a few minutes, Kate, I think it was you that spoke to another one of Jaime's questions that I thought was excellent with respect to health services. I know that I don't get how that works. If I'm a student of, and it might not have been Kate, but I think it was, if I'm a student of the JC, I have access to what kind of medical access and what kind of mental health access. I didn't know about that. Maybe all the rest of you did.
Yeah, so we have a student health services area. So students pay a $21 fee each semester, and they have access to student health services, which provides all kinds of medical support. They do lab work, they do mental health support, psych services. They are starting to branch out into reproductive services. If you come and you have a boo-boo, they'll give you a Band-Aid. I mean, it's really any type of medical support that is needed, that's where the student would go. And they will do their best to either triage or address within the health services, or we've also really, that's what I was mentioning, under Rebecca's leadership, we've really expanded our partnerships in the community where we can refer students out to. A lot of our partners actually get funding support from other agencies to help provide low cost, no cost services to our students. And all of that is available for the health fee. Employees also have access to that. We also have our benefit package, but health services is just such an amazing, easy place. We do our TB testing there. They do vaccines. They do, COVID testing. They really, if you've got a need, they can, as a student or even as an employee, they can really help get it filled. They're not allowed to treat the public. They're funded from student fees for the most part. So it has to be student related or employee related. The other one that I mentioned was Measure O. So that was the quarter-cent sales tax that was approved. I think it's been a year now. We've been working with the county on getting those funds. The county and Dr. Chong worked very closely to get SRJC included in that to help provide regular, ongoing mental health support for our students, which is just so critical for our student population. So that's a really exciting change that's going to be coming there. We're hiring social workers, mental health direct support, as well as providing more referrals and psychologists and everything else. So I don't have the list of positions with me, but it was really exciting when I was looking at it. So it's a definite benefit for our students who really need it.
So, Kate, just to draw a parallel, if I may, those of us on this side of the fence who are not SRJC students and may or may not have healthcare through our work or whatever, many of us have probably been to urgent care. Is student health services, how similar is student health services to walking into an urgent care facility?
Sorry, my dogs are barking again. I don't know what's happening in this world. This is what I get for coming home today. Hold on. Okay, so it is actually, I apologize, oh my gosh. So it is actually it used to be very similar to an urgent care type facility. That was really what it was about when the student had kind of an urgent care, they would go there. They're really expanding it to be more like a primary care now, more in line with what you would hear primary care doctor for, planning ahead, not just being reactive, but being more proactive in medicine, which is, hands down the best way to be treated, I guess.
Thank you. Okay, so I started my diatribe at 16:39 and I burned 7 minutes. It's now 16:46. So the last thing I'm going to ask about is, again, another one of Jaime's points. And Mike, I think that you addressed it. And I believe the question was something similar to, hey, who gets to get into the student housing? And I wrote down the quote, those that need it the most. And to me, I struggle with verbiage like that, because to me, it's like pay their fair share. Who decides that? Who monitors that? Is that indexed to inflation? When's it reviewed? Whatever. So I respect that might not yet be fleshed out, but who needs it the most? How is that going to be determined?
And I think, Kate, if you want to help a little bit with some of the Sonoma County and California specific groups of residents who we've targeted.
Yeah, so I think, and Mike, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been directly sitting in the room for those conversations, but I believe what we did was we mirrored it after our registration process. So those student groups that have been stated by the state as, or identified by the state as needing or getting first access to education, those would be the ones that would kind of have the first access to the student housing project. So those are our veterans, they're disability resources students, EOPS students,
foster youth.
Foster youth, those. We also, as part of our housing documents, our international students will be required to live on site their first year when they come. So they'll have access to it. And then it'll just kind of go from there. So full-time students would have first call over a part-time student, but it would just kind of go through the waterfall, we call it. It's just right on down the line until it gets filled up.
So is that going to be, Kate, is that going to be like an algorithm, or is that going to be like admission to a university where there's a committee that goes through the applications?
So I can tell right now we're working through the process of exactly how it's reviewed, but we'll rely heavily on the management company who is the one taking the applications. So they'll be able to look as part of the application process. A potential resident would identify what, if any, of these groups they qualify for. And based on that, they'll be put into different levels of that waterfall.
I appreciate the responses to the follow-up questions. Thank you very much. And let the record show that at 16:49 with 11 minutes to go, Kutre, shut up. Oh, wait, it's 16:50. Good. All right. So
Questions though, Mike. Good question.
Does anybody else want to, we got 10 minutes to go. Does anybody else want some space? Okay, I didn't think so. Sorry about that, guys. So last thing I'm going to say is it's a darn good thing Frank wasn't here, because the minute, right now my phone would be blowing up with texts. What are you doing? What's the matter with you? So anyway, with that, I look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Would
I'll
somebody
second.
like the second?
Second.
Appreciate that. Is there any further discussion? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, meeting's over. Hey, thank you, staff, so very, very much for accommodating us. We're grateful, and nice job, everybody. Thanks for being here.
You too, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
All right,
Thank
see
you.
y'all.
Thank you.